hope everybody's doing okay. We got a early Tuesday morning, beautiful morning here, working on this Honda HRX 217, and today we will be doing a plain and simple regular service on this thing. Oil change, air filter, maybe doing a fuel filter on there, and then sharpening the blades and trying to take a look at the drive belt system on here and maybe see if we can tighten that up. But right now we will start with the oil change and we'll get into that. Okay guys, so what I will be doing on this oil change is taking my drain pan and coming right up to the side of this mower where the dipstick tube is. And you can see, if you take an examination around the base of the engine where the normal ports would be to drain the oil, there aren't any oil drain ports. So what they're looking for you to do is just tip this engine up sideways away from the carburetor, and it'll come out the same tube that you fill it up with. So I'll show you guys the oil dipstick. You can see it's pretty black there, but not the worst looking oil. So I'm just going to set this dipstick off to the side, and we're going to try to pour this thing into our drain pan. I've got a big black drain pan here, and try to spill as least as possible, but we're going to get this thing all the way up over 180 degrees of a turn. So we're going to try to go a little bit past fully vertical as we go up. And oil starts to come out. Gotta turn away from you guys for a second and hit my toolbox. But turn it over just like that, and she starts coming out all right. I'll just let her sit like that for a second. Let her drain for a second, and while it's doing that, I will take the opportunity to get under here and scrape out some of this deck. You can see a lot of buildup back here in this section. I don't know if that's a big piece of plastic, but I'm gonna get some of this grass out. Yeah, it seems like a big piece of plastic right here, but I'm gonna scrape a bunch of this stuff off because that'll open up all of this area and it'll allow for a lot more air movement and a whole lot cleaner cut. All right, so you can see how much we got out the underside of this thing. I mean, just look at these chunks. This is what happens. I mean, you don't clean out the bottom of these things, the performance goes drastically down because there's no air movement in here. There's no way to move grass, so it just cuts over the top of it and keeps cutting up the chunky stuff that was left in the inside of this thing. So you just gotta be careful, gotta be mindful. Even if it's hardened up and everything, it could be just years of buildup that we're looking at. Even right there. Get my screwdriver here. Right here it looks like hard plastic, but that ain't hard plastic. That's just coming off with a screwdriver. You gotta be careful about that grass solidifying in there, causing some real issues. I mean, that's some hard stuff that'll cause blockages down the road. But now that we got this out, let's go ahead and set this up, and I will tilt over the mower a little bit more to get the rest of that oil out. Yep, more coming. All right, I think we've got all of our oil out. Oh, still more. Come on out. Is it coming out? All right. Now I think that's all of it. Oh, just kidding, guys. She just wants to keep on coming. All right, I think we're calling it quits there. Get our oil pan moved out the way. All right, so you're gonna need your dipstick and a quart of oil. I'm using Kawasaki K-Tech 10W40. Good additives in here, ultimate performance and protection in both low and high temperature applications. Synthetic blend contains zinc. It's good for these smaller engines and the metallic compound that they're cast out of. It heat treats these engines very well. Test certified for top performance and cleanliness, anti-wear, oxidation, and rust and corrosion protection. You know, pretty plain and simple there. Kawasaki's done a great job making this oil, and I find that it performs really well. You can get this stuff at scottturfequipment.com. So I think we're gonna be putting in, I think, what, a half quart, close to half of a quart. So we're gonna go in and just get this bottle going up, and I'm gonna put a little over a quarter of this bottle in here, and then we're going to go ahead and check it. Don't go too much because it's easier to add more than it is to take out. So let's see how much of this bottle I just used. Yeah, I would say I used about 4 ounces. So we'll see where that got us. And you don't want to screw it in. When you're adding oil and you're checking your level, you don't screw in the dipstick on this model. You just put it in, pull it out, see where you're at. All right. So 4 ounces on there looks like it got me a good bit. I'm going to clean this off and I'm going to check again. Make sure that we're not seeing any old stuff. All right, so we're on the dipstick with 4 ounces. I'm gonna actually just drop in a touch more. Just a touch more. And there we are good. She's covered the full line. And of course, I'll turn it over, get the oil cycling in all the different compartments. Actually, I'll do that now. I'll pull cord a couple times. So pulling this pull cord, it allows me to get that oil churning around a little bit. Okay. got the engine turning over, the oil's churning around. Let's see what our level's at. And we're good. So that's oil change done. Drain it into a pan, put about 1/4 of a bottle in there, and you're looking good. We can move on to the air filter. So with our oil change done, we'll come over here to the air filter compartment, and it comes off pretty easy there. It's just got these 2 swivel hooks on the bottom. They go in the bottom right there. Let's see, like that. Pop up in these. You just flip these tabs, push them down and push them back. And then you can see these air filters get exposed to not only a little bit of backfire of a little bit of oil or gas coming back through this end, but of course the grass and the dirt that comes with mowing every day or every week. So we've got our air filter here. If you call in to STE, we can get you hooked up with one of these air filter elements for your specific Honda. If it's this one, you can just give us the part number of 17211Z8B901 and we will know what you're talking about. But I'm just gonna get this unpackaged and throw it on. And that's what your new air filter will look like. It'll take a little bit of pressing in. It's a very tight seal, it's supposed to be. So you make sure all of your edges are pushed in. Get your 2 little hooks put completely on there. Push up. Make sure she clicks in, pull on a little bit, make sure it's not going anywhere, and your air filter is done. Okay guys, for the spark plug on the Honda HRX 217, it'll be located right in the front of the mower here, covered by this rubber boot. Give it some pressure, pull up, it'll just pop right off of there, and you tuck it around to the side, get it out of your way. To replace this spark plug, I will be using our NGK BPR 5ES. Very good spark plugs here, long life. The NGK is one of the most renowned brands, and we carry these at scottturfequipment.com. You can order them in bunches, you can order them in singles, but they apply to almost all of these small engines, either the 5ES or the 4ES. Great spark plugs. But I will get us sized up with a socket, and we will take this thing out, and I'll show you guys how to install your new one. All right, I actually need to buy some deep well sockets, but I got this off with a pair of channel locks. Just improvising. You just make sure you grab it down here around the head, or the hex head, if you are looking to do the channel lock method, because this up here, this ceramic or whatever, that will break. That's not fun. Very sharp pieces. You pull this on out, give it a little inspection. We can see that I think this is the stock one. It's got a little bit of build up on the tip there, but you can see some oil on there. It looks like it's been bogging with all that grass that got built up in there. So new spark plug, free up all that grass out of there. We'll be really looking good. Throw this old spark plug in the old bag here. Make sure we're keeping up with our waste. Throw that over there, and let me set this camera up. Hopefully you guys have a decent view there. I will be taking this spark plug out of the package. Slide it down, make sure you're careful because it has a protector here. This protector is to protect the gap between the spark plug and the bar that comes out for your arcing. So this piece, take care of our trash here. Now when you're going in, just hand thread it. Don't push or anything, just find its natural grooves and it'll tell you where it needs to be. Screw that all the way down in there. And it's got a little crush washer in there. So you'll take your channel locks or your deep well socket if you came prepared, and we'll give it a nice turn and probably snug it up a little bit. And what you're doing there is you're taking that washer that has a little bubble in it and you're compressing it just a little bit to where it holds tension forward and backward, and that thing won't come out. So now just take our hose here, or our spark plug wire, push it down on there when it's centered into the hole, and you'll feel it pop on and click into the spot that it needs to be in to make perfect connection. So after that's done, your spark plug is changed, and we'll move on to the blade sharpening. Alright guys, so for the blade sharpening here, we want the exhaust and the oil drain tube pointed away from us. So we're going to be working from the left side of the mower and flipping it towards the right side. This is because your carburetor up here, your air filter and everything, if any oil gets up in there and makes its way up, we don't want it to get in the air filter and clog it up and make it hold more contaminants. So we're going to tip it this way. It should sit up on its side like that, and that's, you know, relatively safe for the oil to be up at that angle. And let's find a socket for us. I'm gonna guess maybe a 16. Yeah. So a 14 socket. We'll take this weird dual blade off. All right, guys. So I've got my Greenworks dual volt impact driver with my huge 8 amp hour battery on here. Look how huge that thing is. Normally they come in half size. It's a 2 or 4 amp hour battery. I got the 8, so it lasts like extra long. Full power on here, Bluetooth connectivity. You can get all these Greenworks tools on scottturfequipment.com. Oh, this thing packs a whole lot of punch. So let's see if we can't get this blade off. Yep, easy money. Take that, put it somewhere safe. And easy money. So now that these blades are, oh, okay. Now that these blades are off, they do separate. So there's 2 layers to these. It's kind of like a mulching function, I think, that they're trying to go for. Builds up a lot in between the 2, but you can see the grooves that the top one just sits right down on, and it kind of creates a double mulching pattern. So we'll take these off, kind of scrape them off and clean them up, and then I will be running edges on both of them. So as you can see, I use my Greenworks grinder. Comes with the grinder wheel, comes with the guard, comes with the handle brace. Easy on and off function that locks in. 8 amp hour battery on here, huge, but normally it's smaller if you go with the regular platform. Put on a very nice edge on these blades. I didn't have a vise to hold this in, I was just holding it with my foot. So the complaint was about when the drive is engaged, the mower is not moving. And so underneath, while I was inspecting those belts, I realized that when this is pushed, it's only tensioning that belt underneath just a tad bit, and so it's just sitting there slipping the whole time. And you know, that happens as belts age and they stretch out a little bit, and so they need adjustment. And what is a possible adjustment on here is, I was looking at this control lever controls things going on and off, turning on and off, and this lever here, your transport engagement, is adjusted here, it looks like. So it looks as if I pull this outward, this little adjuster here, if I pull this out, loosen this lock nut, pull this end out, we should get more tension down here to put more pressure on those belts to get this thing driving on its own. You can see I just adjusted that cable on the left side, and that one little lock washer, you turn the big space to the right after loosening that lock washer and the lock nut, and then you tighten that lock nut back up. That's got a good amount of clean space in there. And look at this. You push this throttle, dude, she's doing a burnout. I would call that a success in getting it to drive. So there you have it, guys. A full service performed on the Honda HRX 217 Versamo. Not that hard of a service. You just, you know, got to have the parts and a little bit of time to do it, and she's ready for the new season.